Hey, welcome back. It's a Money Monday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. We're kicking off hour 2 with the leadoff spot, and Dan Watkins is going to join us in just a moment. Before getting into it, all the great stuff about cannabis and CBD and this emerging new opportunity. I want to let you know that the Dow is still down 150, so we're taking a little bit on the chin today, but still holding well above 27,000. And Bitcoin is down 140, and I think Bitcoin at 10,165. So both are still above their support levels of 27,000 and 10,000. Sit tight, don't worry about it. Focus up right now. Take some notes because there's something happening in this country right now where state by state by state, they're making cannabis legal, CBD's legal, hemp products illegal. And one of the experts in the field is Dan Watkins. Dan was a former vice president of SureComp and Moody's, 25-year veteran of Moody's, the ratings agency. So this guy knows a little bit about business, a lot of bit about business, actually. And now your new company, Soul Cell CBD, you're based out of New Jersey. New Jersey was, I guess, one of the forerunners, after like Colorado when starting getting medical marijuana and stuff. We had on Tom Coughlin a little earlier from, he's the CEO of BCB Bank. And I know from about 4 or 5 years ago when I was looking at, some of these cannabis states and stuff, that the main problem was banking it, not selling it. Everybody wants to buy weed. Everybody wants to sell weed. But now you had all these drug dealers, these drug companies who are selling marijuana, cannabis products, and they're loaded up with cash. Right. Is that the biggest challenge still out there right now?
Depends on where the challenge is, right? If it's for the new companies getting involved in cannabis, absolutely. So just to be clear, cannabis does mean hemp and it means marijuana.
Yeah.
And so regulating one without the other is a big issue. So for banking, for example, there's going to be a lot of money laundering concerns, right? So the rating agencies, the authorities are going to want to know where the cash come from the first part. If it is illegal, obviously people can't have that money. So where do they get started from? So it is a challenge. I think on the other side, where people are still a little confused, even bankers, is the portfolio, right? So I'm a big bank. I'm a big national bank, and maybe 98% of my customers are okay with cannabis. There could be a couple that aren't. And so do I take that business in or take that revenue in? That is a concern for banks as well.
Got it.
Dan, tell us about some of the specific challenges you're facing being in New Jersey. And I'm going to preface that with saying, with the most recent governor, with that election of Murphy, there was a lot of talk, a lot of hype about New Jersey being, on the forefront of bringing in small mom and pop growers and brokers, and that seems to have fallen by the wayside for guys like you, and there's talk about big pharma stepping into it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, little New Jersey is actually the largest state in the country by population density. I think we also rank probably 2 of the worst cities in the state as well. We have 550 or 520 different districts. So the way it works with our state is everyone has to sort of agree or it's not going to happen at all. What we find, we've been at it for about 1.5 years now, is that there are 40 states in the country that do allow for hemp and CBD. And for whatever reason, the state in Jersey has been sitting on that and pushing for marijuana. Now, we look at the two as being important. We think marijuana, medical marijuana, is very good in lieu of pain medicine, in lieu of other things that could hurt people in very difficult situations such as cancer. We just passed the Jay Koenig bill, which allows for even children to take part now in the medical cannabis realm. But on the CBD side and on the hemp side, literally everyone can be involved. And so that helps with social issues like our rehab and our drug issues. It helps with jails, helps with a lot of things. And it also helps with the environment, which is crazy.
How does hemp, CBD, or medical marijuana help with jails?
So one of the things we look at on both is it a drug that has a psychological impact, or is it something that helps somebody with a psychological impact?
I think it helps.
It absolutely helps. And so we now know, we believe, other people talk about it all the time. Yeah. CBD is great for PTSD and anxiety. And so the jail system in New Jersey is pretty massive, right, in terms of our budget, in terms of our costs, and then back into society. We would like to see jails take on CBD and hemp to help their people on both sides deal with anxiety and PTSD. Also focus. And so maybe we can get some people getting into GEDs and college educations and coming out of jail with jobs and a future in the hemp market where they're not dealing with drugs.
Dan, you spent almost 25 years with one of the biggest ratings agencies.
A few, by the way. Yeah. That was with Reuters. I did some things with NASDAQ.
Okay,
and
but I
Moody's as
mean,
well.
you know a little bit about rating companies and about how to analyze their businesses. I think the cannabis space, CBD, hemp, I think it's one of the most massive opportunities. I think you're going to look up 10 years from now, and it's going to be like liquor was, in, after the abolition. I think everywhere you go in the store, maybe state-sponsored liquor stores, state-sponsored hemp stores, state-sponsored CBD stores.
Yep.
How could people at home start to educate themselves and figure out how to get in on it now, to capitalize on it as part of a long-term investment strategy?
Yeah, so thank you for that. I'd say, I'm a big advocate, obviously, but we would say that literally CBD and hemp or some part of cannabis will be in every single thing that's an ingredient or ingredient focused in the future, whether it be makeup, water products, beverage products, or food products. And so why is that the CBD or the cannabidiol in the plant is natural to humans, and it causes a natural reaction. We actually produce cannabinoids ourselves. We didn't know we did in Prohibition. We didn't know we did in '64 when we discovered CBD, but we found out in 1993 that the human body actually responds to CBD. That's why you're seeing such a big uptake in it. So it's almost like humanity is 100 years behind with our health. We have more cancer, we have more, we talk about the environment, for example. No one ever talks about the diseases we get from environment like cancer. But all the other complications that humans have, you'll find more and more and more CBD involved. And so therefore, you should be involved, whether it's for yourself, look into it, any kind of medical condition. And
I want to clarify something for our viewers. My golf partner is Eddie Costello, okay? He's 89 years old, okay? Former Marine, former New York City cop, plays golf 3-4 days a week. Maybe have a Campari here and there, but never touched anything, drugs or anything like that. And, sometimes there's guys around the golf course smoking legal stuff or whatever. Never ever want to touch it. This weekend, he pulled out a book. 89-year-old guy pulled a book out of his bag. And he says, Johnny, what do you know about this? And it says, CBD. Yeah. Okay, how CBD can help you. Mm-hmm. So you got an 89-year-old man, just to talk about, adoption and people and it getting like more mainstream. You got an 89-year-old guy who's reading a little handout about CBD. What's the difference between marijuana and CBD? Because I think you said it. They're two things. What's the difference?
There are two things. So let's just clarify. There's only one plant. It's cannabis. It has 3 different strains. And in those strains, there's different levels of cannabinoids. One of them is THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. That's that gets you high, the psychoactive. What that does is THC interacts in our brain and with our nerves. It's a painkiller. It helps us feel better naturally, okay? But CBD interacts within our cells, and it allows our cells to reproduce, to be healthier, without the high. So depending on how you grow the plant, you either get a lot of THC and a little bit of CBD, or a lot of CBD and a little THC. Hemp has high CBD, hardly any THC legally. Marijuana has lots of THC, hardly any CBD.
So who's to stop me from growing my own hemp plant and harvesting my own CBD so I can get my show on the road?
Cannabinoids.
Yeah, get my daily cannabinoids.
Yeah. So great point. I'd say you probably haven't heard this before, so I'm going to call this a mini exclusive. But Trump ended prohibition in 2018 by having the federal government no longer regulate and not just regulate, but also mind and look after hemp farming. So hemp farming is deregulated by the federal government. However, every state must have its own resolution. This is where 40 states have done it. New Jersey hasn't. We don't know why. So you can't do it from the state level. You can do it from the federal level. They're out of it. Marijuana is still in both.
All right. Well, that's Dan Watkins, and we have the money guests for you on Money Monday, and everything you want to know about CBD and cannabinoids and all that other good stuff. Know this: Donald Trump said that he was going to deregulate, and it created one of the biggest blossoming businesses out there. Dan, thanks a lot for joining us on Liquid Lunch. Really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. Stay right there. Rich and I will be back right after this.
Liquid Lunch Live is brought to you by Question Tequila.